Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to the First Stars podcast. Are my loyal listeners? Thank you for your continued support. And remember, click the subscribe button, everybody. It's an amazing episode because Rachel Luttrell boards the mothership. You know her as Teyla from Stargate Atlantis. She has recently appeared on the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. Come aboard as we go traversing the stars. Hello, Miss Luttrell. Thank you so much for coming to Traverse the Stars podcast.
It is a pleasure. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
It's totally an honor. Stargate is fantastic, and you're awesome. So I want to thank you so much for coming on my show.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Yeah. Happy to be here on this cool January day.
I'm telling you, we actually had one of the first dustings of the year today. We had another dusting about a month ago. So we're pretty much up to like 2 inches of snow so far this year.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, listen, a lot of places have had a heck of a lot more than a dusting, right?
Yeah.
Woo! That winter storm that blew through a little while ago.
Yeah, I'm getting the sense that global warming is hitting Rhode Island just a little bit right now.
Yeah. I don't think there's a place that can escape it at this point. Yeah, most definitely.
100% agree. Are you in May of 2023, you and other co-stars from Stargate Atlantis are reuniting at the Basingstoke Comic Con in UK, which I think is absolutely awesome. So why do you think Stargate Atlantis has such a strong fan base, has maintained it for, God, it's been almost 20 years.
I know. First of all, that's amazing. I am so proud to be part of the Stargate legacy, the Stargate universe. You know, I think that it has this beautiful staying power and it resonates with people so much because it's a show that incorporates science, incorporates the mystery of life, incorporates friendship. It doesn't take itself seriously. Yeah, I mean, it's this wonderful, it's a wonderful little soup, for lack of a better way of describing it, and it resonates with so many people. And you know, I have heard so many wonderful stories from people all over the world about how it has inspired them, how it's gotten them through really difficult moments in their life, how they've bonded with family over it, how they've laughed with it, how they've enjoyed the characters and their journeys. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it. Yeah.
I think one of the coolest things about the Stargate Atlantis show, and it might be a weird thing to say, but I think it's the fact that you guys have still stayed so tight since the show's been over that kind of makes the chemistry on the show feel so much more real.
Yeah. And you know what? That really doesn't happen often. It really doesn't. You know, I mean, it's just kind of by mistake that people get thrown together, and you hope that you will get along with your fellow castmates and the crew and the writers, producers, etc., all the way up and down the spectrum. And we did. We really did have a family, and we really did care about each other, and that was a beautiful and unique aspect of the show. And yeah, I do think that it's something that does resonate through our performances because it's real. I mean, It really is. I can honestly say that I love all of my fellow castmates. I really do. And I've just got the most fond memories of that moment in my life, for sure.
It kind of feels like every time I see you on social media, there's either you're talking about someone who was from the former cast, or they're talking about you. Because I remember just recently, like David Hewlett is showing an image of you from Guardians of the Galaxy and whatnot, and I was like,
he was?
Yeah, it's on your post. He actually tweeted it at you, and I was like, holy crap! They still are watching each other. They're still talking about each other. That is a family right there.
Yeah. They're, I love them. That was a very, very unique and important period, I think, of all of our lives. You know, many of us had our first babies during that time. You know, we met, the people who would become the parents of our children. It was a really, really, really important period of time for all of us. And that made it very, very beautiful. And yes, so I can genuinely say that we do really care about each other, and I do reach out to them.
So it must be exciting to be having another reunion, I guess, in May of this year. That must be really awesome for you guys.
Yeah. Those are wonderful. I mean, listen, the conventions are such a gift. They're a gift because we get to connect with the fans. And, as I said, that is so meaningful for all of us because the stories that come to us are just, I don't know, they're tremendous affirmations that what we did has an indelible effect lifespan, and we did something that actually mattered. And then that we also get to hang out with each other and see each other and catch up. And yeah, I mean, it's just a win-win-win.
Now, since Stargate Atlantis has been on for a while, are you finding that at the conventions now, it's a newer generation of fans that are coming to introduce themselves to you?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I will have fans who run the spectrum of 70 plus to 8 and below. I mean, I've just met families with, and they come together, and I met wonderful kids who are 4 years old and 9 years old, and then their grandparents and their parents. And I mean, it's pretty inspiring. I can actually get the word out. It's awe-inspiring.
It does it ever get tiring hearing so many young girls saying they look up to Teyla?
Oh my goodness. No, 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 no. That never obviously gets tiring. That's amazing. I am deeply, deeply humbled by it. I truly am. And as I said, I'm just amazed that it's now reaching, a new generation of fans who are enjoying it equally as those who watched us while it was actually, you know, first on air. It's pretty amazing. I'm very, very grateful for it.
So, having time to reflect on that fantastic experience in Stargate, is there one experience that stands out the most from that time period?
Um, no, no, there's not one experience. I mean, as I said, it was just such a wonderful moment in time. Um, those of us who were on Atlantis, I think pretty much all of us, with the exception of maybe David, because David had done SG1, came into it with a kind of a sense of naivete about
Mm.
um, what its reach was to the fans, and what it meant. We were all just kind of there, doing this show that we kind of thought was new, and it was fun. We were getting to know each other. And then all of us together realized the impact of the show and the reach of the show. Um, it was just a magic time. And as I said, we all were kind of starting our lives as parents or as spouses, and we had young children. I mean, it was just beautiful. And I mean, you could point to any one show, and I can tell you memories that I have from behind the scene when that show was actually taking place. It was just, we really, really, really got along. And we had arguments like families do, and and we teased each other the same way, and we supported each other, and we hung out. Um, so I don't have one specific memory. To me, it was just a beautiful period of time. And I'm very, as I said, I'll say it again. I'm just very, very grateful for it. Yeah.
And I think the coolest thing for the fans is that Teyla matured over the course of those scenes as well. As we know, she became a mother. She kind of grew into herself as the show went on. I think that was absolutely fantastic that the writers did that, and that I guess life enabled that to happen as well with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I mean, really, they had to take that storyline and run with it. And I remember
Mm.
being really, really nervous about, what they would do with the news that I was pregnant. And I mean, nobody was writing that in or considering that at the end of the season prior. And they really embraced it and ran with it and held me as a performer and as a person, and then held Teyla as well, and gave her this beautiful storyline. So hats off to them. And as I'll continue to emphasize, I think it was a part of the respect and the genuine care that everybody had for each other.
And I think what's kind of interesting is that at least in my opinion, I'm not the writer, but in my opinion, it seemed to be what helped launch the Michael storyline in the Stargate Atlantis,
Yeah.
and it brought in Connor Trenier, who, as a Star Trek and Stargate nerd, is such a cool actor. So, what was like working with Connor Trenier, and how did that? What were the conversations like in building that storyline?
Oh my goodness. Well, Connor came to us earlier on in seasons past, and his character was always, to me, so very interesting. and always created such incredible episodes. And, I mean, I always loved working with Connor. He's an incredible actor. He's a wonderful person. As a performer, it's wonderful to work with somebody who listens and is really, really engaged in the process of creating story. And that certainly is Connor. So a lot of fun to work with him. And then, when the season came along that I was pregnant and Teyla was pregnant, it afforded a deeper storyline and story thread for the two of us. And that was fantastic. We very much enjoy that. I mean, at the same time, also, Connor was a new dad. I mean, everybody was. So it was just really, really great. I mean, everybody was kind of approaching all of it with like the greatest care and the greatest respect. Conversations about where it was going. Honestly, the writers had a sense of where they wanted to take the characters at the beginning. And then, of course, I threw in this little bump in the road and they just incorporated it so beautifully. And I loved it. They would come to me and say, okay, so this is what we're thinking, and this is where we're going, and this is the episode and the only one that I took issue with was the Queen. Interestingly enough.
Really?
Oh yeah. I was just and that was actually, after I had my little guy. That was the only one that I really took issue with, because I was just horrified about the concept of being around my infant child looking like a monster. I was just like, I was really, really concerned about that. But I've told the story before. The truth of the matter is, once my fabulous infant son saw me, he actually laughed. He laughed. So it was good. It was good. Yeah.
I was going to say, because it's kind of funny because my favorite episode with Teyla is the Queen episode in season 5.
But now, okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. First of all, I appreciate that. So as I said, I took issue with it when I heard that it was going to happen. I was really, really deeply concerned. But the truth of the matter is, I loved it when I got the opportunity to actually perform it. The transformation was incredible. I felt very, very powerful. It was terrific. I mean, hats off to all of our creative team. The wardrobe, oh my gosh, spectacular. Once you put those clothes on, I mean, it just transformed the way you moved and really, really informed the character for all of us. But, when I was portraying the Queen, that certainly, and then the visual effect, the makeup artists, incredible, all coming together to create this really, really intriguing and wonderful character, which I very much enjoyed playing in the end. Once I knew that my son wasn't going to be damaged for life.
That's the important thing. Not damaging your son is actually the most important thing possible.
Yes. Yeah.
So was it difficult to act underneath all those prosthetics, though? Because, I mean, that had to be not only restricting, but when I've talked to who's under prosthetics, talk about how annoying it is to have that stuff on your face.
Well, listen, I was lucky enough that I didn't have to do it for protracted periods of time. It was just that episode. So for me, it was like this encapsulated moment where I could explore something new. I mean, all of your expressions kind of have to be heightened because they have to move through these layers of makeup, and your eyes are also covered with contact lenses. So in that sense, yes, it could be restricting, but as I said before, all of those elements actually informed the character and informed how I moved and informed, I don't know. I mean, I just felt very, very grounded in her. And there was a stillness that was probably informed by the prosthetics, because I couldn't really, I mean, there was just only so much that you could do. But I think it all aided in creating the character. Yeah.
I can imagine. I think must have been difficult to approach the Queen character, because you're playing Teyla, who's playing another character. You're basically playing a character like the Mirror, playing someone within something else. How hard was that, and how did you think about how that would be approached?
Oh gosh, I mean, at that point in the arc of Atlantis, I had been playing Teyla for so long that she was just kind of, it was like easy for me to, she was just, it was just like, breathing in, breathing out. And, all the groundwork for for how Teyla integrated or operated and saw the Wraith was already laid. So I didn't really have to work that hard. It was just kind of something that naturally flowed due to, years past. And it was really, really fun. It was fun. It was great playing a character that had so many polar opposites within her. As a performer, we love to have challenges thrown to us, and I embraced them, and I very much enjoyed it.
I think the cool thing was your chemistry between you and the actor who played Todd. I think it's Christopher Hemdale, I think was his name, who played Todd the Wraith with you.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. He's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic, and he is an incredible actor. Christopher Heyerdahl.
Sorry. I butcher every name I say.
Oh no, it's all good. It's all good. He's an amazing artist and an amazing human being. And actually, he was one of the very first. I'll never forget it. It was season 1, and he was playing a different character. And why is it escaping me? Oh, Chris, please forgive me. He was playing one of the Athosians, and he also helped to inform how I looked at Teyla. I can't even remember which episode it was. It was like one of the very, very early episodes in season 1. And he said, a queen is not informed by how the queen acts. A queen is informed by how the people around her act towards her. And it was so just kind of on the nose and wonderful. And I'll never forget it. And then, he became a friend, and I mean, he's gone on to do some wonderful, wonderful work, which is great because, as I said, he's a terrific performer. Yeah, but we were friends. So at that point, when I was playing the Queen, the two of us were friends, and it was very comfortable. I'll say this: it's wonderful as an artist and as an actor to be in a space where you feel safe. Because then you can really like dig deep and create without any kind of fear that you're going to be criticized for what you bring to the table. And, at that point, yeah, we were all friends. And so we were really able to play.
So as I was saying, my favorite episode is The Queen. And the interesting thing about the episode is that from what, all my understandings is that the Stargate Atlantis books that have followed the series dive really, really deep into Teyla as the Queen. That was a major part of it all. So as the actress, do you wish they explored that more in the show?
The Queen?
The Queen, Teyla playing the Queen.
Oh, wow. First of all, amazing that is your very favorite episode. No. In short, no. I guess that goes back to, me saying that yes, it was this encapsulated moment. So I didn't have to spend a lot of time in the prosthetics. I will say that if it was something that had to continue, it probably would have been draining. I mean, I know that it was for the actors, performers who had to do that on an ongoing, basis. It's difficult. It is difficult. Hats off to Christopher, to Chris. He did an amazing job, but you have to. This is me being I don't know. I'm just pointing out the logistics of it. You got to show up at 3 a.m. in the morning. It takes hours to put that makeup on, and it takes, at least an hour to take it off at the end of the day. It's pretty grueling. So I'm happy that I got to experience it and I got to bring this character to life, and that it wasn't a protracted part of the storyline. I think that would have been pretty grueling for me. It would have been pretty grueling. So yeah, and who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have been your favorite if it had continued. So it kind of stands alone as this lovely little gem.
Well, like I said, I guess in the novel series, they basically made a major point of the Teyla Queen character.
Oh,
And I guess also Shepard and Teyla has a relationship. Do you think that was something that also could have been explored more in the show? Because it was hinted at a few times.
I mean, I think if you were to ask any one of us, um, central who played the central characters in Atlantis, we all would say that there were many, many things that we wish could have been explored further. Um, I think we all thought that it could have gone on for a lot longer. And that there were many, many aspects of our characters that could have been explored. Relationships, I mean, just a pile of stuff. I've talked to David in the past, and we wish that we had more storylines together. We had working together, and I mean, there's just oodles of stuff. So to answer that question, I think I've already expanded more than I needed to, but yes, yeah.
And I think another cool thing about the Teyla character is that her history with the Wraith and her family is obviously a very negative one, but it always felt like, especially in the episode The Queen, that Teyla had more compassion or openness to being compassionate towards Wraith than the other characters on the show. And what do you think that says about her as an individual?
Well, I think that points to the fact that she was a good leader. She didn't see things in black and white. And I don't think she ever did see things in black and white. Although I suppose in the very, very beginning, when we were getting to know her and we were getting to understand the relationship between her people and the Wraith, there might have been, a very kind of a more gray kind of area. But I think she had the capacity to see things in a spectrum. And I think that, as I said, informed her ability to be a good leader. Yeah, and a good team member.
Well, I think it's so cool that she's so compassionate towards these Wraith on some level. However, one of the most badass moments Teyla ever has is with Micah when he's hanging from the building and she just kind of kicks his ass off the ledge. That's a tough moment.
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. But as I said to you before we started recording, we had a little bit of a banter about how I have now entered the sacred coven of mamahood. And I will say this. Yeah, you don't mess with a mom and her child. You do not threaten her child. It's just like,
Do you think that changed Teyla as a character when they made her a mother? I mean, obviously it's based on your real becoming a mother during the show, but do you think that changed the character or how you approached her when she became a mother?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my goodness. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Her whole world changed. Her priorities changed. Yeah, it absolutely changed her. Changed me. So, yes.
Well, like I said, I thought Stargate Atlantis is a great TV show, and I think it was so cool that you appeared in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. And I want to go to one thing that you posted on Twitter and kind of go into a little more detail. You mentioned that you look like you're going to vomit on the thing because you really were because of the harness. Can you kind of go into that story just a little bit?
Oh my goodness. All right. So where do I even begin? I don't even know. Okay, where do I even begin? I mean, I could go like years back, tell you how, I found myself in the Guardians of the Galaxy and in like the Marvel universe. And the stunt department. I'm currently living in Georgia, which is where most of the Marvel movies get filmed, a lot of them. And we're here because my ex-husband is a stunt performer, stunt coordinator, and was working on, the Marvel movies in the Marvel universe. And so I got to know a lot of the stunt coordinators, stunt performers, et cetera, et cetera. And every once in a while, they would reach out and say, "Hey, Rachel, do you want to, come to set and play?" I mean, that's often how they would say, "Do you want to come and play? We need some more people. We'd love to see you there. Would you like to come?" And I have. And what I have discovered, having done that, is I am not a stunt performer. It's just not really in my DNA. I come from a background of a dancer, and obviously in Stargate, I I had a lot of fight sequences, and I loved that. That was choreography. So all of that, Guardians of the Galaxy comes along, and I am told that it's an acting part, and they just really really need you, Rachel, because you're going to be interacting with main cast, and it's just a quick moment. It'll be funny scene, and I was like, okay, fine, sure, it's an acting moment. Anyway, the day comes. It's 3 a.m. in the morning. It's cold. I'm exhausted, and all of the lines have disappeared. I'm like, well, yeah, wait a second. I have nothing to say. But, you take these things in stride. The rig that they had was incredible. I mean, when you look at it, it was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible. If I didn't have to be in it, I'd be like, this is amazing. Look at that. But I had to be in it. It was an overturned police car, and they had gutted it, and they had taken the top, which was essentially the bottom of the car, because the roof is sitting here, and so the top of the car was removed, and they had the seats sitting up like this at the top of the car, which is the bottom of the car. And we got in, we got strapped really, really tightly, because they levered us down like this, and we had to bend your feet and point your feet backwards towards the back of the car, and we were completely inverted. So the only thing that was holding us in was this harness, and sadly it was resting on your diaphragm. And I didn't really know when I was going to be up, and dinner was kind of served late. Let me just say, I had my dinner 15 minutes before being harnessed in. So yes, I legitimately was trying not to be sick. It was really comfortable. Yeah, I will never say yes to being hung upside down like that. Woo! Just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. This is going to be okay. But I think in the end, yeah, I mean, it's a funny sequence. And
so if you look close enough, can we tell that you're going to vomit? If you look close enough at the scene?
Well, let me say I didn't. But yeah, I mean, I guess you can. Yeah, it was tricky. It was really, really tricky. That was one of the most, potentially the most uncomfortable physically that I have ever been on set, ever. Yeah, I can say that unequivocally.
So when the guy called you to, did you want to play? He used the wrong term for that moment.
Well, she. And I think, to her credit, she didn't know. She really did think that it was going to be an acting moment. I don't think she was trying to lure me in. I think she was really this is going to be a cool acting moment, and it's only going to be a moment of you hanging upside down, and you never know until the day. You never know until the day.
Well, something else was cool. I got to interview you a couple of years ago. It was a fantastic. I enjoyed it a lot. And one thing we mentioned is that you are writing a story about your parents. Is that still going on?
Gosh, okay. One of the many hats that I wear is that of a writer. I'm going to go off on a bit of a tangent. Yeah. So my amazing daughter and I have been watching Dickinson, which is on Apple TV, and it's about the life of Emily Dickinson. Now, I am not in any way comparing myself to Emily Dickinson, but one of the things, one of the greater points of that show, and the through line, is that a lot of her writing went unread or unseen by anyone except for those in her immediate world. And kind of my writing. I love it. And I think that I write well, but I am yet to produce any of my work. And certainly that story has been with me for a long time. And I have written, many, not versions, because of course the story itself is the story, but many different ways in and nuances, etc. And yeah, it's something that I am still working on. Yeah, as well as a number of other stories and scripts. And maybe one of these days I will freaking get them from the page and from friends who were like, Rachel, this is amazing, to actually other eyes. Yeah, the story of I was born in East Africa, in Tanzania. So I am Tanzanian as well as other things, but that is where I took my first breath. And my mom is a native Tanzanian from the Usambara Mountains, and my father is from Louisiana, was from Louisiana. And the way that they met and how, polar opposite their lives were prior to that is really, really amazing. And I have wanted to get it out there into a script. Maybe it'll be a book. I don't know, for a while. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, like I said, I hope you keep me posted. Like I said, 'cause I just remember it being a fascinating story, and I definitely wanted to see it progress.
Thank you.
No
Well, I'll
problem.
take that. I'll take that.
So, what's next for you?
Yeah, my goodness, what is next? I don't know, my friend. I'll be very, very honest. I don't know. I love this industry. I have always loved being an actor. I have produced a couple of shorts and I enjoy that. I have also discovered that I enjoy directing, and working with actors. So who knows? Who knows? I just hope that I, can continue to work in this industry that I love, and I can wear the many hats that I do, and I can get out of my own way and actually do them. Yeah. Um, I have always been somebody who's like a little shy. Maybe that doesn't shine through, but it's just you and me right now. And yeah, so I think I need to toot my own horn maybe a little bit more and just get out there.
Well, like I said, whenever you do next, please come back on the show and talk about it. You're a fantastic guest, and like I said, everyone thinks Taylor's a fantastic character. So, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you. And
Thank
yes,
you.
I will.
Great, fantastic. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you. You too. You too.